So Elon Musk's Tesla has bought a stake in Bitcoin, causing the currency to spike. The electric automaker investing around $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. Let's try and get some advice on this and avoid getting scammed. It's joining me this morning is Sean Sanders. He's joining us from Revix. He's the CEO and founder of that. Sean, good morning to you. Let's first of all talk about just how big a punt this is for cryptocurrency to have someone like Elon Musk throwing his weight behind this. Good morning.
Morning, Gareth. Thanks very much for having me on. This is the biggest news in crypto since it came about. And I don't think it can be understated just how big a news this story, or how big a story this is. $1.5 billion from a top 6 global company being put into Bitcoin. I mean, that's the most validation that you can have in this market. And this actually follows MicroStrategy, which is another NASDAQ-listed company, which put $1.15 billion into Bitcoin. Now, what these companies are doing is that they're saying, well, let's rather hold Bitcoin instead of holding dollars or gold as their reserve assets. So remember, big companies have fairly big cash balances. Now, to elect to use Bitcoin as a means to store value rather than cash, I mean, that's a pretty big validation. So since then, you've seen this market blow up. I mean, the market's up, or Bitcoin in particular is up about 1,000% since March last year, which is quite remarkable. And if you then look at the growth since Tesla's investment, I mean, you're looking at the market increasing about 105%.
And what is South Africa looking like at the moment, Sean? How many South Africans are climbing into Bitcoin? Is it a thing here?
Oh, most certainly. No, South Africa, I think we're used to the rand's volatility. So when you're looking at Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, you're kind of more used to it than maybe some more developed market investors. But no, South Africans are moving in hard and fast. I mean, Revix, we've grown, I can't even tell you how much. I've had customer support agents crying, so many people are signing up. And this is really the mainstream adoption that I think we've been waiting for a very long time. It's sort of like going back to the internet in the late, maybe early 2000s, late 90s, where you sort of had a bit of the dot-com bubble, but things were still clunky. You weren't really sure how to use the technology, and that's sort of where we are with crypto right now. And all of a sudden, it's going mainstream, and all of a sudden, it's going to be just another checkout option. And I think this is the exciting time to sort of see this technology grow and to actually see everyday people start using it.
And so why are governments and banking institutions still so upset with the way cryptocurrency is working? The critics, the supporters of cryptocurrency will say it's simply because government can't control it. They're not in charge of our lives and our finances for the first time in human history. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, to a large degree it is. I mean, if you think about a post office, when you had the internet emerge and then you had email emerge, I mean, you're not going to see a post office go and set up an email stand or an email desk that people can then send email, right? And in much the same way, if you're looking at banks and if you're looking at governments, I mean, the way that cryptocurrency is built is it's decentralized, which means that there's no central authority or company that manages it. It's a network of people, a network of nodes, if you want to call it that, that manage the way that transactions occur. And if you think about it, governments like to be in control. They like to know what information and what payments are passed between two people or passed between two companies. And the way that crypto is built is it just doesn't facilitate that. So it's a completely new way that value is transferred, that information is transferred. And I think there's going to be a bit of pain in terms of implementing new regulations. And there needs to be regulations, right? I mean, we need to be able to protect consumers from the scams that are out there in the market. Naturally, with any asset class that's growing as quickly as what cryptocurrencies are growing and what they have been growing over the last decade, it's the top performing asset class over the last decade by quite some margin. And without regulations in place, you are seeing the emergence of more scams, and it's something that people have to be very aware of.
It is, and I want to ask you just in the last question to you briefly, if you can, Sean, because this is such an important question. In the end, the tax man is always going to get his pound of flesh. Surely there's a point here where SARS is going to get involved in those who are trading in Bitcoin. Final question to you.
Yeah, most certainly. No, at this point in time, I mean, when you're filing your annual tax return, SARS asks you, have you engaged any cryptocurrency-related transactions? If so, how many? And, what's your gain, what's your loss? So, you're meant to report that. Now, the problem is it's self-disclosure at the moment. So, again, we need regulations to come in because calculating your cryptocurrency gains or losses is really difficult. So you need regulators to come in and, come to the likes of Revix and say to us, no, you should be the one, providing the information to SARS so that your customers then, are able to file their returns without such a headache. So that's currently where things are. But no, the tax man's definitely coming for crypto. I think it's only a matter of time before us, as the companies behind the space, are going to have to report the information.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. Couldn't agree more. Sean Sanders, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us here on ENC.